In this video, I'm going to simplify the same trigonometric expression twice. First way, I'm going to approach it like a beginner, and the second way, I'm going to approach it like an expert. I'm going to tell you and show you exactly what to look for when you're seeing a problem like this, so therefore you don't have to waste time, because I get it. I know I have spent a lot of time on these types of problems. They can waste a lot of time of you trying to figure out what is the best way and approach to go about it. So the first example, or the first way we're going to approach it, is what would a lot of students do if we need to simplify this trigonometric expression? We see two expressions, rational expressions, separated by addition, and everything's in terms of sines and cosines. So most students would be like, well, looks like the best thing for me to do is just to combine them, just to find our common denominators. And that's not a bad approach. Again, we're going to get to the exact same answer. And if that's the way that you're looking at this problem, and that's what you thought in your head, there's nothing wrong about it, right? I just want to give you an alternative approach, another way to look at things, rather than just always going through the same process that you might be accustomed to or familiar with. But let's go and identify our common denominator. Notice they don't have any factors in common. So therefore, my LCD, or my least common denominator, is going to be the product of sine of theta times 1 minus cosine of theta. So therefore, to combine these, I'm going to multiply here the right-hand side times my sine of theta, which is my other denominator. And the left-hand side, I'm going to multiply by a 1 minus a cosine of theta. Okay, so 1 minus a cosine of theta. Nothing wrong with this. Again, perfectly fine approach. Now again, make sure we're putting here parentheses on these just to make sure we are going to apply our distributive property. Now you can see I have a common denominator, right? And then up top here, I have 1 minus cosine of theta times a 1 minus cosine of theta. So let's go ahead and simplify that to a 1 minus cosine of theta, or 1 minus cosine squared. Oh, sorry. 1 minus cosine of theta quantity squared. And this is going to be plus a sine squared of theta, right? Sine of theta times sine of theta is a sine squared of theta. And that's going to be all over this 1 minus a cosine of theta times a sine of theta. Again, make sure you're introducing those parentheses, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want to rewrite this as 1 minus cosine of theta times sine of theta, okay? All right, I do recognize a cosine squared plus a sine squared is equal to 1, but I can't get that cosine squared unless I expand this, right? So hopefully you recognize that a x plus 1 quantity squared means a x plus 1 times a x plus 1, meaning we need to do the distributive property. Or you could recognize that a binomial squared creates a perfect square trinomial, so you could easily multiply this out. Two things. Do not distribute the square. This is not 1 squared minus cosine squared. Don't do that. Either multiply it out using distributive property or FOIL, or recognize it's a perfect square trinomial, and you can easily expand it in your head to 1 minus a 2 cosine of theta. What the heck did I do? So minus a 2 cosine of theta, and then plus a cosine squared of theta, and then plus a sine squared of theta. Okay, and then again, this is going to be all over my common denominator, 1 minus a cosine of theta, parentheses, times a sine of theta. Okay, so again, what I mentioned here, knowing your Pythagorean identities, make sure you have these formulas or these identities written down and you're familiar with them. If you're not, I'll make sure I put a link for my formula sheet in the description down below. So cosine squared of theta plus sine squared of theta, that is going to equal to 1, right? So I'm just going to kind of put those here and just kind of put a 1 there. Now again, 1 plus 1 is going to be a 2, right? So we can now say that 2 minus a 2 cosine of theta, then divided by a 1 minus a cosine of theta, parentheses, times a sine of theta. All right, now I'm running out of space, but hopefully you recognize the last thing we can do here is if I need to continue simplifying, I recognize these two terms have a 2 in common. So by factoring out a 2, I'm left with a 1 minus a cosine of theta all over a 1 minus cosine of theta times, again, a sine of theta. Now, again, it's important to recognize, ladies and gentlemen, these terms are separated by multiplication, right? When you have your terms, expressions, or numbers separated by multiplication, you can apply the division property. So now I can divide out the expression 1 minus cosine of theta. So I'm just going to show that with my red. No, not green, red. So you can divide those two terms out, and what we're going to be left with is going to be a 2 over a sine of theta. And again, the reciprocal when you have a 2 in the denominator, whenever we're simplifying trigonometric identities, we don't want to leave it with fractions, right? We always want to be able to, if we have a trigonometric function in the denominator, we want to use the reciprocal function. So I kind of ran out of space because I want to do this one more time. Actually, I'll just move this down one more time. So hopefully, yeah, this, because the other method is going to be much faster and quicker. Okay. So I think we'll have enough space. So therefore we can rewrite this as a 2 cosecant of theta. Voila. And again, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing wrong with that approach. Nothing wrong with it. It took a little bit longer, right? You need to make sure you know your Pythagorean identities. You need to make sure you're good with expanding. You're not forgetting your parentheses, which a lot of students will make mistakes. And then you're good with your reciprocal identities, right? There's nothing wrong with it. The only problem with doing a lot more work is there's more opportunities for you to make mistakes. So let's look at this problem from an expert point of view and say like, all right, what is something else maybe I could look for in terms of this? Now, if you know your Pythagorean identity, 1 minus sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1. And you recognize here as a sine. One thing I tell students to do, we always try to practice on is creating. Not only when we see a sine squared or cosine squared, think of that Pythagorean identity, but whenever you see a 1 minus cosine or a 1 minus sine, think of creating that Pythagorean identity. And since everything's in terms of sines and cosines, I kind of think the idea is, well, what if I created a sine squared, right? If I multiplied this by 1 plus cosine, that would create a 1 minus cosine squared, which using the same Pythagorean identity is equal to a sine squared. And again, I'll show you that. But what I'm going to do here is let's just multiply one side by a 1 plus a cosine of theta. Okay. So I'm going to rewrite everything just so you can kind of see everything, even though it's kind of going to take more time, which isn't going to make it much faster, but hopefully you get the idea. So I have a sine of theta times a 1 plus a cosine of theta. And then this is going to give me a 1 minus a cosine squared of theta, right? Because hopefully you recognize this is a difference of two squares, right? Because if I had a minus b times a plus b, you could distribute that out using the distributive property, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Or you could recognize that's in the difference of two squares form. So therefore you can just rewrite it as a squared minus b squared. That's exactly what I did. Now again, going through your Pythagorean identity, sine squared of x plus, or theta, we're using theta, so let's use theta. Sine squared of theta plus a cosine squared of theta is equal to 1. You need to know this identity. Okay, need to know it. There's no cheating. There's no, I don't care if you need to use flashcards, write it on your mirror. You need to know that identity. It comes up way too often. I don't have this. I have 1 minus cosine squared of theta. But what's wrong with me subtracting a cosine squared of theta on both sides? There's nothing wrong, by the way. So sine squared of theta is going to be 1 minus a cosine squared of theta. Oh, 1 minus cosine squared of theta is equal to a sine squared. Now you might say, to save myself a little space, I'll say, all right, I'm going to rewrite this as a sine squared of theta. Well, here's the cool thing. You could say, well, now I got to multiply this by sine over sine. Yeah, or you remember sine squared of theta is the same thing as a sine of theta times a sine of theta. So ladies and gentlemen, I have two sines here. I have sine of theta times a sine of theta. I have two signs in the denominator and one in the numerator. So I can go ahead and divide those out. Now I have two fractions. One is a 1 minus cosine of theta divided by sine, and the other one is 1 plus cosine of theta divided by sine. So when I go ahead and combine those, I get a 1 minus a cosine of theta plus a 1 plus a cosine of theta, and that is all going to be over a sine. Now obviously 1 plus 1 is going to be a 2. And then here, negative cosine of theta plus positive cosine of theta is just going to go to 0. So I'm left with a 2 over a sine of theta, which I can rewrite as 2 cosecant of theta. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's two different ways to approach this problem. And maybe you have a third. If you do, feel free to put it down in the comments down below. I always love learning different ways to approach the problem, if it's even slower or a little bit faster. It's all about looking at different ways and trying of approaching the problem in different ways to be able to simplify your trigonometric identity. But in reality, it's also about doing practice. So if you want more practice problems for you to be able to work on your own, or just maybe some more videos of me going through simplifying and verifying trigonometric identities, then check out the links I have for you down in the description down below, or the next video I have for you here. Cheers.